when we start to see this repeat and enlarge thing going on, all of a sudden the whole book of Revelation opens up because we look at it with different eyes.
Tom, I was wondering, do you have any, what do you think of the seven thunders in Revelation 10?
Oh yeah, seven thunders uttered.
Yes. The seven thunders uttered their voices. I believe that's actually the book of Daniel. Is in the time of the end, the book of Daniel will be completely unsealed. It's thought to have been unsealed, but it will be unsealed. And now there are some similarities in chapter 10, and that's where I'm kind of getting this from. Is verse 6 in chapter 10, or verse 9. When we start to see the book, and I know we've studied this and we all see it, at least to a degree, when we start to see this repeat and enlarge thing going on, all of a sudden the whole book of Revelation opens up because we look at it with different eyes. So here, I just want to go to this one verse here. It says in verse 7, chapter 10, and we're going to look at a couple verses here. I'm not just going to quote one verse here. But in the days of the sounding of the seventh angel, that's the seventh trumpet, right?
Yes.
In the sounding of the seventh angel, when he is about to sound, the mystery of God would be finished, as he declared to his servants, the prophets. So I have to ask the question, what is this mystery of God that is finished at the sounding of the seventh angel?
Is it 11:15, Revelation 11:15, and the seventh angel sounded, and there were great voices in heaven saying, the kingdom of this world are become the kingdoms of our Lord and of his Christ, and he shall reign forever and ever?
That's definitely part of it. But God's mystery that he's kept hidden, Paul talked about that in let's see, that's in Ephesians chapter 2. The mystery is that God is going to redeem man that was lost, recreate man in God's image, the same image at the beginning. That's the mystery that God has kept hidden from ages past. That's what Paul talks about in Ephesians chapter 2 and 3. Very clear. Actually, the first 3 chapters, he's expounding on that. That's what's going to be finished. That is going to be finished at the second coming. Because the number of the redeemed will be made up, and he will be presenting them as his first fruits in the heavenly Jerusalem to the Father. That's what's going to happen. That's the mystery of God, that how he's going to redeem man. That's been kept hidden, and that's what Paul talked about. But it's going to be finished. So my point being here is these are events, the seven thunders that utter their voices in verse 4. It says, they uttered their voices, and I was about to write. But I heard a voice from heaven saying to me, seal up the things which the seven thunders uttered, and do not write them. Where else have we seen that the angel is told, or John is told, to seal up things? Where do we see that?
In Daniel, he's told to seal up the book for the time of the end.
Right, exactly. He's told to seal it up. So it was not going to be unsealed until the time of the end. Well, when John got that vision there, this was on Patmos. That was about somewhere around 1900, 2,000 years ago. And when he saw these things, he was told to seal it up. The same thing Daniel was told. But Daniel was told when it would be unsealed, and that would be in the time of the end. So we can expect an unsealing of mysteries in the time of the end. And I propose the time of the end that it's talking about, when the mystery is finished, is at the second coming. So these are events that lead up to the second coming of Yeshua. And where do we go to see the parallel to the book of Revelation? We go back to Daniel. And that book was told to be unsealed in the time of the end. That's how I view that. And we also see in verse 6, it says, he swore by him who lives forever and ever, who created, in verse 5, it says, the angel or messenger, actually is what it should be, the messenger whom I saw standing on the sea and on the land lifted his hand to heaven and swore by him who lives forever and ever, who created heaven and the things that are in it, the earth and the things that are in it, the sea and the things that are in it, that there should be delay or time no longer. When we go back to the book of Daniel in chapter 12, where he's told to seal up the book until the time of the end, there's the time times and a half, the 1290, and the 1335. This is telling us that there won't be any more extension for this planet. So it parallels with chapter 12. And we see in chapter 12, there's also a being that has his hand lifted toward heaven, and he swears by him who lives forever and ever. So I think it's a direct reference to the book of Daniel and the events of Daniel being unsealed in the time of the end.
Thank you.